the cunning spider who tried to steal all wisdom. African folktale of Anansi. Welcome to our storytelling adventure. Today we delve into an exciting and timeless African folktale about Anansi the spider, known for his cunning and cleverness. In this tale, the Anansi attempts to collect and hoard all the world's wisdom for himself. Join us as we explore his journey and the valuable lessons he learns. Let's dive into the story of Anansi and the pot of wisdom. Chapter 1: The Plan. In the heart of the vibrant West African forest, where the sun shone brightly and the trees swayed in the gentle breeze, lived Anansi the spider. Unlike any ordinary spider, Anansi was celebrated for his extraordinary cleverness and knack for trickery. His fame had spread far and wide, and he was known to outwit even the most astute creatures. One sunny morning, as Anansi spun his web in a grand and intricate pattern, he had an ambitious idea. What if, he mused, I could gather all the wisdom in the world and keep it for myself? With all the wisdom at my disposal, I would become the wisest and most powerful being ever. Determined, Anansi set out on his quest. He began visiting the great sage owls in the treetops, the wise old turtles by the riverbanks, and even the mystical fish that swam in the deep, dark waters. He collected knowledge about the stars, the earth, and the secrets of nature. Each piece of wisdom he acquired was carefully recorded and stored in a large, intricately decorated clay pot. As days turned into weeks, the Anansi's pot grew heavier and heavier, filled to the brim with the world's accumulated knowledge. He felt a sense of pride and satisfaction, convinced that this treasure would make him unparalleled in wisdom and power. Chapter 2: The Climb. Anansi knew that to keep his newfound treasure safe, he needed to hide it where no one could reach it. He chose the tallest tree in the forest, a magnificent baobab that seemed to touch the very sky. This tree was known to all as the mightiest in the land, and Anansi was sure it would be the perfect hiding place. With the pot of wisdom tied securely to his belly with a strong vine, Anansi began the arduous climb. The baobab's branches were thick and gnarled, and the pot knocked against them, making every movement a challenge. Anansi grunted with exertion, his legs trembling with the effort. Sweat dripped from his forehead as he continued his ascent. As he climbed higher, Anansi's mind raced with thoughts of the power he would wield. Soon, he thought, I will be the wisest being ever. No one will be able to outsmart me. But the climb was grueling, and the weight of the pot made it increasingly difficult. Despite his determination, the climb tested Anansi's patience and endurance. Chapter 3: Ntikuma's Advice. Halfway up the towering baobab, Anansi's young son, Ntikuma, happened to wander into the clearing below. Ntikuma, curious and observant, noticed his father's struggle. He called up with a concerned voice, Father, why don't you try tying the pot to your back instead of your belly? It might make climbing easier. Anansi, preoccupied with his climb and irritated by the interruption, replied, What does a child know about climbing trees with a heavy load? I have this under control. Despite his dismissive tone, Anansi could not ignore the strain of the climb and the discomfort caused by the pot pressing against his belly. As he continued climbing, he couldn't shake off Ntikuma's suggestion. The idea began to make sense. Anansi decided to give it a try. With much effort, he untied the pot from his belly and retied it to his back. To his surprise, the adjustment made the climb significantly easier. The pot no longer jostled with every movement, and Anansi could climb more smoothly. Feeling a mix of gratitude and embarrassment, Anansi couldn't help but reflect on his son's wisdom. Perhaps there is something to be learned from even the youngest among us, he thought. His climb became less strenuous, and he approached the top with renewed hope. Chapter 4: The Fall. When Anansi finally reached the top of the baobab, he was overwhelmed with a sense of achievement. He looked around from his vantage point, feeling as though he had conquered the world. He was about to hide the pot of wisdom when a troubling thought struck him. If my own son could come up with a solution to my problem, how could I possibly claim to be the wisest being with all this wisdom? Anansi's confidence began to waver, and frustration bubbled within him. He had been so focused on gathering and hoarding knowledge that he hadn't considered the possibility that his wisdom was incomplete. In a fit of anger and despair, Anansi's emotions got the better of him. He grabbed the pot and, in a reckless moment, attempted to throw it from the top of the tree. The pot slipped from his grasp, tumbling through the branches and crashing to the ground. The wisdom inside it spilled out, cascading like a river of light and knowledge, scattering across the forest. Anansi watched in horror as the precious wisdom he had collected was dispersed into the wind. It flowed into every nook and cranny, reaching every corner of the land. The once carefully hoarded knowledge was now available to all beings, carried by the breeze and absorbed by the earth. Chapter 5: The Lesson. Descending from the tree, Anansi felt a deep sense of regret and loss. The pot was shattered, and the wisdom was no longer his to control. He realized the gravity of his mistake and the true nature of wisdom. Anansi understood that wisdom was never meant to be hoarded by a single individual. It was a treasure meant to be shared, to enrich and benefit everyone. The experience taught him that true wisdom lies not in possessing it alone but in spreading it for the greater good. From that day on, Anansi continued with his clever schemes but embraced a new perspective. He recognized the value of sharing knowledge and saw the importance of allowing wisdom to flow freely among all beings. His trickster nature remained, but he no longer sought to monopolize wisdom. Instead, he used his cleverness to assist others, knowing that the collective wisdom of many was far greater than that of one. And so concludes the tale of Anansi and the pot of wisdom. This story imparts a powerful lesson about the nature of wisdom and the importance of sharing knowledge. Anansi's journey reminds us that wisdom, when shared, benefits everyone and helps us grow as a community. Thank you for joining us on this storytelling adventure. If you enjoyed this folktale and would like to hear more, please like, share, and subscribe for more captivating stories from the heart of Africa.